I'd like to acknowledge, firstly, I'd like to acknowledge our partners, Old Mutual, NAMFOS, AgriBank, and Agra. Who I would like to bring your attention to, ladies and gentlemen, is our honored pillar speakers for the evening. You will find them in this table here. I would like to acknowledge first, in history, we welcome Mr. David Masiziani, who will be guiding us through the foundation of identity and systems. In economics, we will have Mr. Tebe Selema. In technology, Mr. Nero Nondengo. In agriculture, we have Mr. Hanks Sai. You must please forgive me if I am butchering the names. You guys know how big our continent is. The dialects might be the same, but here and there, we falter a little bit. You will forgive me if I do so. And in what we refer to as discipline, and we call it military science, it will be Mr. Kagiso King Hlongwane, the president of Paseta, Africa. In that spirit, whilst everyone is still coming, I would like to give you guys a very, very warm welcome, and I'd like to thank you for accepting us with open arms to Namibia. We are going to begin the program with an ancestral prayer by Sister Sue Chiesa.
O ancestors, blacker than 1,000 midnights, African ancestors, it is you that we, your children, give respect and honor. O ancestors, we call upon you and welcome you in this place. African ancestors, let your presence fill this place. O ancestors, who have been purposely excluded from the history books, so that the world would not know of your greatness. Our African ancestors, who gave civilization to the world, who gave art to the world, who gave music to the world, who gave sciences to the world, who gave mathematics to the world, who gave medicine to the world, who gave literature to the world, who gave philosophy to the world, who gave God consciousness to the world. O ancestors, we thank you for devoting your life to make a future for us, your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. There is not enough opposition out there to outnumber our ancestors. Every time we come together, we say, rise up, O ancestors, stand with us, strengthen us, guide us, teach us, and protect us from the snare of our enemies. Rise up, O African ancestors, and let our enemies be scattered. Give us the wisdom and the boldness to deal with our oppressors and those who hinder the liberation and empowerment of our people. Rise up, O African ancestors, and live in us. We will not fail you. We will not fail to honor you. We will not fail to respect you. We will not fail to hear you, and we will not betray you. Ashe.
Some of the essence of what Paseta wishes to instill. We'll get to that, and then following that, we will have a background and purpose, so that we can all be in the same page and understand this Paseta. What is this Paseta? Where is this Paseta going?
Leaders of industry, partners, and fellow builders of Namibia's future, welcome. Tonight's gathering is a line in the sand. We are seated here in an area filled with decision makers, capital holders, and system shapers, people who move markets, influence policy, and define direction. But tonight is not about what we have built. It is about what comes after us. Because across Namibia and across our continent, there's a quiet gap forming. Not only in resources and opportunity, but in preparedness. A gap between the systems we have built and the people who must one day carry them forward. And that is why we are here. Paseta was not created as another institution. It was created as a response to a simple but urgent question. Who is being prepared to inherit, sustain, and advance what we are building today? Tonight, you will hear about a model that does not treat education as theory, but as infrastructure. A model that begins early, shaping the learners into thinkers, builders, and protectors of systems. This is about continuity. It is about ensuring that when the time comes to pass the baton, we are not handing over complexity to confusion, but systems to those who understand them. So tonight, I invite you to listen with intention, not just to what is being said, but to what is being asked of you. Because what will be shared here is a proposition that speaks directly to the future of your institutions, your industries, and this nation as a whole. The work ahead of us requires clarity. It requires commitment, and above all, it requires leadership that thinks beyond the present moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paseta Namibia Gala launch. Let us begin.
The level of conscientizing that we need to begin at. As I've mentioned, my name is Rabi Serumilo. I am a poet, I am a journalist, I am the media advisor to the ambassador of Palestine to Namibia, South Africa, Lesotho, and Malawi. And I'd like to share with you something that is very important to me, and it should be to all of us. It is a question. When did Mother Nature adhere that her children's shoulders aren't broad enough to carry the burden of their natural hair? They dread how it locks. For every strand is a curse, an algorithm of mistakes. It puffs and withstands the elements. It doesn't understand the metric of the air, nor does it comprehend the semantics of how it blows. My people are wind. We teach our young to decipher the code for walking on clouds. We never hesitate. Africa, yeah. Africa, let's come together. Africa, oh. Africa, yeah. Africa, let's come together. Africa, oh.
Time is coming back because we'll have a talk show here without any mercy. So our mission as Paseta is to integrate fundamental economics, technology, agriculture, historical, and structured discipline into the early stage of learning, building a generation capable of designing and sustaining African future through systems. Please highlight that word, systems. Systems replace systems. You cannot march trying to replace a system where people sat down and planned. Your marching will do nothing because they have planned for that as well. Politics is another system. System replace system. That's why they were happy to give us the administrative power. They say, it's fine, let your people vote because they can't beat us with one man, one vote. So they said, let's rather form a system that we can still control from outside. So they're still controlling us. You ask yourself, what are these politicians doing? Some of them doing great work, some of them just pulling us back. When I look at the bigger picture in Africa, we are very blessed to have an example of a true Pan-Africanist in Captain Ibrahim Traore. I think that man, as you are praying, as you are doing whatever you are doing, I wish there was a fund where we can donate something for his protection, because definitely his head is on the block. And as a young man of 36 years old when he took power, 35 years old, look at how much he has done in a country.
Together, because of this. Children are curious. They learn by asking questions. The world teaches them what to fear and how to fear. Children live with hope innately, and they always dream of achieving great things. Children look up to their parents, community leaders, and influencers. We have a collective responsibility to ensure that the questions they ask are not only answered by mere words, but with faith and deed. As Namibians, if we have shared value, moral standard, and knowledge, we should make it mandatory that we pass this on to sustain our cultures, our traditions, in times where the superficial world is on a quest to re-educate and inform our children and program them how to think. I call upon all indigenous religious leaders as well as educators. And I say to us that we have a critical role in displaying hope to our children. Let us not teach our children what to think, but let us teach them how to
future. In Namibia, history is not abstract. It lives within our institutions, our policies, and our economic structures. It is reflected in how land is administered, how industries evolve, and how participation takes shape. So to speak of history in this context is not to assign blame or create division. It is to recognize that every nation inherits systems. That was emphasized earlier, systems. So every nation inherits systems. And that progress depends on how wisely those systems are understood and transformed.
Thinking. Now, as in education, we would like to move away from our Eurocentric kind of education that almost every country is using in the world, or at least in Africa, to a more Afrocentric sort of curriculum or education system that we want to have in Africa. How then is economics important? Why should our learners learn about economics? When you develop a program or a curriculum, the starting point is, what is it that you want to achieve in the end? What kind of graduate? Earlier spoke about the kind of graduate you want to have. That is our starting point. If you remember, Steve Covey talks about starting with an end in mind. In education, there's a gentleman called Spady, very famous or infamous in South Africa for obvious reasons. He was the first consultant that was engaged by South African government after independence, where now they brought in that idea of OBE, education, outcomes-based education. Very controversial because people were resistant. It was bringing ideas that people do not want to listen to.
And we are very motivated by the Pan-Africanism that is being spoken about here. And this is what we try and do most of the time at Kentech with technology. Every day I get students that come from universities that are mostly skilled in theory. They don't really do the practical aspect. So imagine somebody coming and they have never made a LAN cable in their life and they want to become a professional in the industry. It makes it very hard. So every day we are spending money on buying a lot of cables because they are ruining it every day. So this was an image when I first started. I used to put it on in my slides, just from ideation. It shows two different images where one is drawing kettles on, and the little kid is drawing Wi-Fi icons and for and Bluetooth. So with that, that's just to show that that's where the vision was. So today I'm going to talk about a little bit of my experience and how I got to where I am, to being a founder of a telecommunications company and also the president of the Internet Society in Namibia.
It's not how you own the land or what type of land system you have that determines this, but it comes down to entrepreneurship. The guys that own land to run businesses, we classify as commercial. The guys that own land and just keep it, make use of it, we call them communal because they only think of their immediate needs. But the white guys, they've realized that breakfast, brunch, lunch, and dinner must be provided by somebody. And they've built a system by making sure that they give you food 3 times a day. And that's why agriculture becomes fundamental.
I'm going to speak about military science, which is our 5th and last pillar. Paseta has got 5 pillars: historical studies, you heard about that one, economics, technology, agriculture, and military studies. We want to teach military studies. Many people said, but President, what is this? Are we planning for war, or what is going on? We are going to intimidate our government. They're gonna think we are coming to take over. Somebody said that. They said, no, we are coming to take over Tafel. Another coup is coming. But it is nothing could be further from the truth, because in Paseta, when we are talking about military studies, we are talking about discipline, because our generation lacks a lot of discipline.
Pillar, and I like to put it to say, it is the discipline to lead and protect what we are building or what we have built. As introduced, my name is Dina Hamevana Mujebo, and I'm the president of Paseta Namibia. Hey guys, don't make me emotional. You guys asked me not to cry tonight. So tonight we have not just heard ideas, we've heard direction. We have listened to the voices that have walked us through the pillars that will not only shape individuals, but the future of a nation. And my role tonight is simple. I'm not here to repeat what was said, I'm just here to bring it together. So we begin with history. We were reminded that a nation without a memory is a nation without direction. Because history is not behind us, it is beneath us. It is the foundation we stand on. We moved to economics. We were reminded that participation in the economy is not optional, it is necessary. Because no nation develops when its people are disconnected from production, ownership, and financial understanding. We spoke about technology, and we were challenged to move away from consumers to creators, because the future will not be given to us, it will be built by those who understand how to create within. We reflect on agriculture, and we were reminded that before systems, before currencies, before institutions, there was the soil. And the soil that remains the foundation of substance, production, and independence. And I always like to say that, the soil is our first bank. We've heard about discipline, the pillar that holds everything together. Because without discipline, knowledge collapses. Without discipline, vision fades. Without discipline, nothing is sustained. But tonight is not only about these pillars. Tonight is not about these pillars in isolation. It is about what they mean for Namibia. It is about a generation that must understand where it comes from, participate in its economy, create within its systems, produce from its land, and carry the discipline to sustain it all.
That has brought us to this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, an evening like this does not end with the program concluding. Its value will be measured by what happens after we leave here. By the conversations that continue, by the partnerships that are formed, and by the decisions that are influenced. Because ultimately, progress is not driven by events, it is driven by actions. So as we As we depart, let us carry forward the ideas we have heard and the responsibilities that come with them. On behalf of Paseta Namibia, I thank you all for your presence, your engagement, and your contributions to what has been a truly meaningful evening. We wish you a safe journey home, and we look forward to building together. Thank you and good evening.